Did you know there's an ancient Japanese technique that can literally shut down your brain's distraction center and put you into deep focus on command? In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how this method works, even if you've tried meditation, Pomodoro, or every productivity hack and nothing has ever stuck. Hey, I'm James. A couple years ago, I was completely drowning in distraction. I'd sit down to work, and 5 minutes later, I'd be scrolling my phone, checking emails, bouncing between tabs, and at the end of the day, I had nothing to show for it. I genuinely thought something was wrong with me, like I just wasn't built for deep focus. But then I stumbled across an old Japanese practice that completely flipped the way I use my attention. I went from constantly overwhelmed to actually finishing tasks, staying present, and finally feeling in control of my mind again. And if you've been struggling with distraction too, you're about to see the same shift I did. Now that you understand why distraction feels so overwhelming and how I used to struggle with it too, let's get into the actual technique. The beautiful thing about Ichigyo-zami is that it isn't complicated. In fact, this ancient Japanese method can be broken down into just 3 simple steps. But each step has layers, and when you combine them, your ability to focus, stay present, and get things done changes completely. So let's go deeper into each part of the method, one by one. Step 1. Create the single object environment. The first step sounds simple, but it's the step almost everyone gets wrong. Ichigyo-zami begins with creating what Zen practitioners call a single object environment. That means you deliberately remove anything that competes for your mind's attention, even if you think you're used to the distraction. Let me ask you something. How often do you try to focus with your phone next to you, notifications buzzing, multiple tabs open, and 100 things happening around you? Most people try to build focus inside a chaotic environment and then blame themselves when they can't concentrate. But this technique flips that logic. Instead of using willpower, you start by shaping the space around you. Here's what the single object environment looks like in practice. 1 device, 1 tab, 1 page, 1 task, 1 sensory goal, 1 intention. That's it. Even Zen monks understood that your brain can't latch onto one thing if everything around you is competing for attention. And neuroscience backs this up. Your mind scans the environment even when you think you're ignoring things. So in Ichigyo-zami, you don't just reduce distraction, you physically remove its ability to reach you. Now, you might be wondering, do I really need to eliminate everything? Here's the truth. You don't need to be perfect. You just need your environment to support your focus instead of competing with it. And here's something even more surprising. When your environment has only one object intended for attention, your brain automatically gravitates toward it. You don't have to force anything. You're simply aligning your surroundings with the mental state you want to enter. Once you get into this habit, even for a few days, you'll notice something strange. Your mind actually becomes calmer before you start working. Your brain recognizes the environment and prepares itself for focus. But this setup alone isn't enough. We still need to engage the mind directly. That's where the next step comes in. And this is where the real magic happens. Step 2. Immerse your mind into a single action. Step 2 is the heart of Ichigyo-zami. This isn't just doing one thing at a time. It's becoming the thing you're doing. And this is where most people struggle. Not because it's difficult, but because nobody ever taught them how to return their attention gently. Here's how monks practice it, broken down. 1. Take one slow breath. 2. Bring your attention fully into the sensation of the action. 3. Feel the movement or stillness of your body. 4. Notice when your mind wanders. 5. Gently bring your focus back, without judgment. That's it. This is the core technique. But let's talk about the part most people are afraid of. Your mind will wander, and that's actually the whole point. When your mind drifts and you bring it back, you're doing something extraordinary. You're performing a rep that builds your attention muscle. Think of it like going to the gym. Your ability to concentrate is not something you're born with. It's something you build through repetition. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever forced yourself to focus and felt your mind fight back even harder? That's because most people treat focus like a battle. Ichigyo-zami treats it like a dance. Instead of fighting distraction, you acknowledge it. My mind wandered. Then you guide it back. No judgment, no guilt, no shame. You simply return, over and over. And something incredible happens when you do this consistently. Your mind stops panicking whenever you try to focus. It starts trusting you. And eventually, it follows. Some people describe it as the moment when their brain softens into focus. Others say it feels like slipping into a warm bath. Whatever it feels like for you, this state is the beginning of what we call flow. But here's the part almost nobody tells you. You don't need hours of perfect concentration to build this skill. You just need short, intentional blocks. Which brings us to step 3. Step 3. Use short, sacred focus intervals. You've probably heard of the Pomodoro method, 25 minutes on, 5 minutes off. Ichigyo-zami uses something similar, but with one important twist. The breaks are intentional, conscious, present, and completely free of external stimulation. Here's how it works. You set a timer for 20 to 25 minutes. You let yourself focus fully in that window. When the timer ends, you step away. No phone, no scrolling, no dopamine hits. Just breathing, stretching, or walking. Let me ask you this. Why do you think monks pause between tasks? Why not just go from one thing to the next non-stop? Because your mind needs time to reset before it can enter deep focus again. Most people work in a constant state of mental noise, switching, jumping, forcing, until their brain is fried. But short, sacred intervals restore the mind. They allow attention to replenish. They prepare you for another round of deep immersion. Over time, these small cycles create something extraordinary. Your mind becomes able to drop into deep focus faster and stay there longer. This is why Ichigyo-zami isn't just a technique. It's a transformation. And here's something interesting. When you combine 1. A distraction-free environment, 2. Total immersion, and 3. Sacred intervals, your mind begins to work the way it was designed to. Not scattered, not overwhelmed, not chaotic, but clear, sharp, present. Which leads us to one more important insight, something most people never realize. Ichigyo-zami isn't just a focus method, it's a way of living. Even though we're applying this to studying, work, and productivity, Zen monks use this technique in every part of life. When they eat, they only eat. When they sweep the floor, they only sweep. When they walk, they only walk. When they rest, they only rest. There's a famous saying, "When I eat, I eat. When I sleep, I sleep." It sounds simple, but it's incredibly profound. Because let me ask you something. How many meals have you eaten without tasting them? How many conversations have you had while thinking about something else? How many moments have you missed because your mind was somewhere else? Ichigyo-zami reconnects you to life. It brings you out of autopilot. It lets you experience the world more fully. And the more you practice it, the more everything feels richer. From your work, to your relationships, to the quiet moments in between. And now you know exactly how Ichigyo-zami works. The ancient Japanese technique that eliminates distraction, builds deep focus, and helps you enter a calm, powerful flow state on command. You now have the 3 steps. 1. Create a single object environment. 2. Immerse your mind into one action. 3. Work in short, sacred intervals. Use this consistently, and your brain will feel completely different. Clearer, more capable, more present. If you found this helpful, make sure to subscribe for more videos just like this one.